Hello and welcome to Programs and Me YouTube channel. In this Python programming video series for beginners, next let's talk about the data types. Data types tells a computer what kind of data you are working with. They help the computer understand how to use and handle the data properly. While writing the programs, we'll work with different types of data. Here we can see few examples. Here this number 1 variable holds an integer data. Here 10 is an integer value. Here 4.5 is a float value. Variable number 2 holds a float value. Here string variable holds a string data. So we work with different types of data while writing the programs. And Python offers various data types to handle this. Let's go through each one with examples. First data type is int. Int stands for integer. It is used to represent integer numbers. It can be positive number, negative numbers or 0. And here we can see few examples. Data type of 10, -5, 0 is int here. In programming, when we work with integer number, the int data type is used. This tells the computer that these values are integers, so it knows how to store and process them properly. And Python integers can be big as your computer memory allows. Python automatically uses more memory when the number gets bigger. And integer number can be used in mathematical operations, in loops and counters. And we can use integer number to access specific items in the list or strings or tuples. Integer number is used as index in list, string or tuples. And to check the type of a variable or value in Python, we can use the built-in type function. Here if I take an integer value and check the type, for example type of 10, then we'll get class int. In Python, everything is an object and every object belongs to a class. Int is not just a data type, it is actually a class in Python. That's why we'll get class int here. And also Python is dynamically typed. When we write num equal to 10, Python automatically understands that num is an integer. No need to explicitly mention the data type as we do in other programming language. Okay, so this is about int data type. Next, let's talk about float data type. Float stands for floating point numbers. It is used to represent numbers with decimal points. Here we can see few examples. Data types of 3.4, -4.1, 0.5 is float here. In programming, when we work with numbers that have decimal points, float data type is used. This tells the computer that these values are floating point numbers, so it knows how to store and process them properly. In standard Python implementation, a float is typically stored using 8 bytes. 8 bytes means 64 bits. It follows the IEEE 754 double precision format. A Python float has about 15 to 17 decimal digits of precision and extra digits are cut off. And if we use type function on float value, we will get class float. As I said previously, Python is dynamically typed, so no need to mention data type explicitly. While using float value also, no need to mention the data type, float and variable name like this. Float numbers can be used in mathematical calculation, for measurements or in financial calculations. When we want number with decimal points, you can use float numbers. Okay, so this is about float data type. Next data type is complex. The complex data types in Python is used to represent numbers with both real and imaginary parts. Complex number. In Python, complex numbers are written in the form of a plus bj. A and b are floats or integer. J is the imaginary value. Its value is square root of -1. And here you can see the example. Complex numbers are used in standard arithmetic operations and used in advanced math or science applications. A complex number in Python typically takes 32 bytes of memory. And when I take a complex number and if I use type function on that, then we'll get output as class complex. It belongs to class complex. Okay, so this is about complex data type. Next, let's talk about str. Str stands for strings. Str used to represent text or sequence of characters in Python. Here we can see examples. Hello and 1, 2, 3 are strings and data types of this value is str. In programming, when we work with text or character, the str data type is used. This tells the computer that the values are strings, so it knows how to store and process them properly. Strings are used when you want to use names or message in your program, or you want to represent some textual data. You can use strings. Python stores strings as Unicode, which means each character can take between 1 to 4 bytes of memory depending on the character. If I write type of a string value, we'll get class str. It belongs to class str. And also in Python, no need to declare str explicitly while using string data type. Python's dynamic typing handles it for you. Okay, so this is about str data type. Next data type is bool. Bool stands for Boolean. It represents two possible values, true and false. Here you can see the example. Boolean values are used to check if something is true or false. It is used in if statements, loops, and comparisons. And Python Boolean values, true and false, take 28 bytes of memory each. When we use type function on Boolean value, we'll get class bool. So it belongs to bool class. And also, no need to declare bool explicitly for Boolean values. When you assign a Boolean value like true or false, Python automatically understands it as a Boolean because of dynamic typing. This is about bool data type. Next data type is NoneType. In Python, the NoneType data type represents the special value none. None means no value. There is only one value of NoneType, that is none. And here you can see the example. When we use type function on none, we'll get class NoneType. In Python, none takes 16 bytes of memory on a 64-bit system. Okay, so this is about NoneType. Next data type is list. A list is a built-in data type used to store multiple items in a single variable. Items in a list are ordered, mutable, and can contain different data types. Till now, all the data types we discussed were immutable, meaning their values cannot be changed after they are created. But here lists are mutable. Lists are represented using square brackets. Here you can see few examples. Its value can be of any type. In Python, list size depends on the base memory for the list object itself and the number of items it holds. When we use type function on list, we'll get list class. We'll cover lists in more detail in one of the upcoming tutorials. Okay, for now, this is about list data type. Next data type is tuple. Tuple is an ordered collection of items just like a list. But unlike lists, tuples are immutable. Tuples are written with parentheses. Here we can see the example. The memory size of a tuple depends on base size of tuple object itself and also number of elements inside the tuple. And if I use type function on tuple, we'll get class tuple. It belongs to class tuple. Next data type is set. A set is an unordered collection of unique elements. It does not allow duplicates. Sets are mutable. Set is represented using curly braces. Here you can see few examples. Sets are implemented as hash tables, so their memory size depends on the number of elements, base memory, and extra space to reduce collision. And if I use type function on this set, we'll get class set. It belongs to class set. Next data type is dict. Dict stands for dictionary. Dictionary is a collection of key value pairs. Dictionaries are mutable, represented using curly braces. Here we can see the examples. Internally, a dictionary uses a hash table to store keys and values. Their memory size depends on base size for object itself, number of key value pairs, and extra space to handle collisions. And when we use type function on a dictionary, we'll get output as class dict. It belongs to class dict. Okay, so this is about few built-in data types in Python. Next, let's talk about why data types are needed in programming. The first reason is to identify the kind of data, to identify whether a value is number or text or something else. And the second reason is to manage memory efficiently. Different data type uses memory differently. To define what operations are allowed. Integers can be added, strings can be concatenated, but you can't multiply a string to another, or you can add a string and an integer. Next reason is it helps the Python to run code correctly. Knowing data types helps Python understand what you want to do and avoid errors. That's why data types are one of the important part of programming. Okay, so this is about data types in Python programming language. That's it for now, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will meet you in next class. Till then, take care.